Firstly, thank you for inviting me up to this amazing day and what you guys are doing. I love the boxing thing as well, that's amazing. I wish they did something like that where I got to go out free boxing every week, it'd be great. My name's Chris, as I guess you already know, and I like to say amongst many, many other things, I'm a recovering drug addict. Now the reason I say it like that is because not too long ago, so I'm 15, nearly 16 months into recovery now. So before that, I identified as a drug addict. I would get up, I'd get my phone, I'd order drugs, I'd take drugs, I'd sell drugs, I'd buy drugs. My whole life was drugs. If I didn't make enough money from selling drugs, I would steal and sell stuff to buy drugs with. Absolutely everything went down that road. Now, before all that happened, I've had an interesting life. I was raised by two loving parents. I have two great brothers as well. I'm the middle child. That may be something to do with it. I don't know, it's been suggested a few times. But I always felt, and I hear this a lot, I always felt uneasy as a child. Never quite fitted in. I was never sure of myself. I was never, one of the gang. Or even if I was, I didn't feel that I was. And that's the important part, the feeling that you are. And when I went into adolescence, obviously I moved from little school to big school, and that worsened, hormones as a teenager, everything gets worse. And I think to fit in, looking back now, back then I'm not trying to be cool, and looking back I was trying my best to be as cool as I could. And I started smoking weed when I was at school. That kind of escalated pretty quickly to smoking weed at every opportunity I got. I had a Saturday job as a kid when I was 14, 15. I was spending all my money on weed, smoking weed in the evenings after school, at the weekends, my friends down Alleyways Park, wherever we could. And when I left school, I found alcohol. So I started drinking alcohol. I was quite aggressive at school anyway. I used to fight quite a lot, suspended several times for fighting. And I ended up working with people that they wanted that kind of person around them. They wanted a big person that they could go to the pub with and feel that they could get away with what they were getting away with and have maybe protection around them. I was naive to that at the time. I couldn't see what they were doing, call it grooming into that kind of life or whatever. So I looked up to these guys. They're quite powerful criminals, what they were where I used to live. And I started sniffing cocaine with them, going out, we were driving around in limos. It was what I thought was a great life. We weren't going to limos every day, but we had the parties. Friends of mine owned clubs, they were bouncers, they were doormen, we were never queuing up, we were in straight away. We'd get like the VIP area and that in their clubs. And I thought, I was the lad, I was the chap. And if there was any problems, they'd come over and me and my mates would just, we'd sort it out, the bouncers couldn't deal with it. We'd go outside because we had the reputation and we were kind of tasked with that was what we had to pay to be in the position that we were in. Because there's always a cost, there's always a price. And when the people these days in county lines, gangs and that, they give trainers, they give shoes, goodies, coats, jackets, phones, there's always a price. There's always a price. Even the money, there's a price when money comes in as well. That price to me was my spirituality. That was my soul being slowly taken away over the years. So I'm drinking, I'm sniffing cocaine, life's up and down. It's violent, there's violence against me, there's violence from me, violence around me, who can be the worst, who can be the most feared person. And I'm almost ashamed to say that because I'm completely the opposite to that now. I went through all of that phase, and I used to fight and scrap and hurt people and want to be seen so no one would come near me. Now I see that was all fear-based. I was scared of those other people, what they would think of me. So unless I hit them or acted out against them or made them fearful of me, I didn't know how they were going to accept me. So rather than letting them accept me for who I am, I would show them who I was perceived to be. I would show them who I thought I was. Big mask, just carrying this mask around me my whole life, trying to be this person I wasn't. And that led to my demise very quickly. Going through my 20s, I was involved in quite a big fraud, and I got my